Hello and welcome to PocketGamer.biz. I'm John Jordan, and the big news today, as we can see, Thursday the 19th of September, today we have Apple Arcade. It's finally gone live. So, had a bit of tomfoolery to me actually get hold of this, so obviously most people will know, I guess, that to get hold of Apple Arcade you need to update to iOS 13. You can see I'm using the new dark mode. Ooh, dark and scary. But I was hoping to do this on my iPad, but the iPad has been split off into its own iOS and doesn't seem to be the iPad 13 doesn't seem to be out yet. So I've been reduced back to my iPhone 6s. So yeah, way back in time. I'm not quite sure. I was surprised it even supported it, but obviously not a top of the range device anymore. But we'll see how we get on. So this is really just going through Apple Arcade, which is Apple's new $5 a month subscription service, and kind of all you can eat, as many games as you want to play will be there. No in-app purchases, no microtransactions, no ads. Different sort of gaming, a different sort of mobile gaming. Obviously, a very Apple sort of mobile gaming. So let's see. Okay, so she's just telling us what's going on. That's not really okay. So you can see here, Apple Arcade has its own tab now, and then you can see these are some of the games that are there. Okay, cool. And if we look at the bottom of the screen, we can see now we have today, obviously today, games, the usual new games that are going on, highlighted apps, and then we have Arcade. So this is the new Apple Arcade, has its own tab. It's just games. Interestingly, they've kind of not put it near the games, the games icon. They've kind of put it towards the end. Don't know why that is. So all you can play free for a month. Try it for free. I'll say now on iPhone, coming soon to iPad, Mac, and Apple TV. So kind of the point is, as well as it being kind of these paid games, effectively for free as a subscription, you can cross-play them. So play them on your phone, play them on your iPad, your Mac, your Apple TV, and obviously everything syncs up. So you can start playing on your phone, and then when you get home, play on your Apple TV. So that's kind of another reason for it. How many people will use that? Hard to tell. But anyway, let's see if we can get this to work. So obviously, you have to have payment set up. But we can kind of see what's going on here. You can cancel at any time, at least one day before each renewal. Plan automatically renews until cancelled, and I'm in the UK, so this is showing $4.99 a month. So confirm that. Obviously, you have to sign in your passwords, which I won't be showing you. So just hold on for a minute. Okay, so there we go, signed in. What's kind of interesting about that is I don't have a valid credit card attached, I don't think, to my Apple account at the moment. So that kind of seems interesting. I have to double check that. Anyway, it doesn't really matter so much. We can see here, so now we're into Arcade, and we can see everything that's there. So one of the big issues, particularly when you're launching something like Arcade, so we know, or Apple has kind of cited 100 games as being kind of part of the subscription. They're not all available at launch. We reckon there's probably about over 50 games at launch. And it's obviously very difficult at launch to have, if you have 50 games, how do you curate those? If you're launching with 10 games, if it's like a console launching, and you just had a few games, not very good. But it's kind of easier then, because you kind of go, well, there's the fighting game and the racing game, but with 50 games, that's just an enormous number for anyone to kind of go through. So it's interesting, this showcase here. So whether this is on a kind of a rotating basis, or whether this is this game here, Sayonara Wild Hearts, is a music kind of a motorcycle game, pretty interesting, from Simogo, well-known mobile developer. So this seems to be the one that they're really showcasing. But now we're going, it's obviously what we'd expect from an Apple App Store curation. So start your adventure. What will you play first? So we've got some of the big names, I suppose. Sonic Racing, and Frogger. I mean, Frogger in Toy Town's probably not a big name, but Frogger's one of these games I guess everyone knows, even if no one plays it anymore or is not really interested. Oceanhorn 2, that's a pretty big game. I'm surprised that's not a bit more prominent. I mean, that's like a proper proper console game on a Switch, I believe. Lego Brawls, obviously, yeah, massive brand. Choo Choo Rocket, another version of Choo Choo Rocket. I love Choo Choo Rocket, I have to say. Back from the Dreamcast days. Stranded Sales, no idea what that is. And then suddenly you get into this scenario, because although some of the big games companies have supported Apple Arcade, so it has particularly been kind of Capcom and Konami and Sega have got a few games out there. Lego, but I think it was there's a Ubisoft have got a Rayman game out, and Gameloft have a baseball game. So there are some game companies out there, but there's not like it's not like an EA, aren't there? It's not an Activision. There's none of the big free-to-play, so obviously Supercell, not obviously, but Supercell aren't there, Zynga aren't there. These are the companies that are making a lot of money on free-to-play mechanics. Obviously no free-to-play mechanics in this. So quite quickly you fall away into these games, which if you're into indie games, which I am not particularly well-versed, although I've heard some of these are pretty good. Siki Squash Watch, or whatever, is kind of something that's been kind of bandied around. Where Cards Fall is supposed to be really good. But a lot of these are kind of coming from the kind of traditional indie kind of developers, kind of small houses doing this very art house style. So Assemble with Care from Us2, that's one of the most high profile games I think at launch, but that's kind of been hidden away really. Kind of interesting. Way the Turtles from Illusion Labs, are pretty well-known indie, a Swedish indie who've made a lot of mobile games. Very good relationship with Apple. That's a bit hidden away as well. So you kind of have this problem where suddenly you've got all these. It is a good question. What will you play first? I'm not sure Apple's particularly helping me by having all those there. So let's have a look here. New Arrivals. Obviously, this doesn't make any sense because New Arrivals, everything's New Arrival. But we do have Oceanhorn 2, which I thought would be an important one for them. Sonic Racing. I haven't heard of Overland. The other thing is all these games kind of, because they are paid games. Actually, a lot of them are kind of also PC. Actually, some of them are on PlayStation 4 as well. But obviously, a lot of kind of PC and a bit of Switch stuff as well. So anyway, this is obviously the video deck, so you can see what's going on here. Then it's kind of a bit odd. Quick Tip, Dodo Peak, game not played at all. Need a Speed Burst, Find a Waterman. I mean, this tip stuff is a little bit odd, given that I suppose they think it's just another discovery mechanic. Go Somewhere Wild, Leave the Ordinary Behind. Well, I mean, I'm not sure what that means. Oceanhorn again, daily play, so that's been getting pretty heavily pushed, which you'd imagine. Only on arcade. Now this is interesting because let's have a look. I probably don't know. So Where Cards Fall is not only on arcade. What they mean is this is the only mobile platform it's on. So there is this idea of exclusivity on arcade. Whether it's forever or for timed exclusive, can't be on Android, which obviously isn't a big paid platform anyway. But Where Cards Fall, or is Where Cards Fall on other platforms? Maybe I'm getting that wrong. I have to be careful in what I'm saying here. But a lot of these games are kind of cross-platform in the sense that they are on Switch and other things. I have to go and look that up if Where Cards Fall is or not. We're here to help, get hints. So. Yeah, adventure for beginners, multiplayer. It is interesting because one of the big ideas, or one of the much talked about things about Apple Arcade, is that it will be pretty useful, or people in the industry are saying, I'm not really bothered in this sort of game, I quite like free to play, which is my personal opinion, I quite like free to play. But people are saying I would, for $5 a month or £5 a month or €5 I suppose, I would get this for my kids because it's keeping them out of the free to play stores where they get weird advertising and they might press the wrong button and get charged $100 sort of thing. So that you can kind of see why that would be the case. It's interesting there's not been I would say this curation is not particularly child focused. This is very much kind of for adults, and actually these games, it depends on the age of your children really, but these games are not for very small children. These games, probably you would say, I'm sure the capacity of 8-year-olds is incredible, but these are probably more, kind of aimed at teenagers, young teenagers, I would think. So we've got role-playing puzzle, platformer. That'll be Frogger there. We have. Multiplayer. So that's interesting. What multiplayer have we got? So those are not particularly high profile, but Sonic Racing is. Be interesting to do the multiplayer stuff. And then what's at the bottom here? See all games. Okay. So will this be alphabetical? Released. Skate City. See, that's not been mentioned before, and that was kind of. So how are they actually? I've no idea how they're ordering these. That's a bit odd. And obviously, very quickly, I suppose we can go in and play one of these. But to get these, obviously, you're having to download them. It's not a streaming service or anything like that. Mini Motorways, something that people have been talking about. Okay, I mean let's okay, let's get assembled. Okay. So this is just effectively, like going through a normal app store. Install this. Well, this would be quite big. I don't know. I'll speed up the process. Okay, so there we are, ready to play. Welcome to Game Centre. Is that still a thing? Goodness me. I didn't need... Oh. What? Okay, that's weird. So, I'm not going to really play this game in any detail, but obviously we can see here this is what we're going to do. We're going to be manipulating objects. Oh, okay. And it's weird, the aspect ratio. But anyway, I'm not doing that. So there we go. That was just a brief kind of, I guess, the first time user experience, kind of onboarding to Arcade. I think, how you launch anything is pretty difficult. I mean, you've got so many games, it's impossible. You can't kind of please everyone all the time. I guess it would be more sensible not to have so many games to begin with and kind of drip feed them in. But obviously, I guess you want to go with the biggest impact that you can have. So anyway, Apple Arcade, $5 a month as a subscription service, first month for free. So I imagine that's worth everyone kind of checking out and seeing whether they think it'd be useful for them. But anyway, thanks for watching the video. So this is pocketgamer.biz, where we do videos occasionally about mobile games. So thanks for watching. If you've got any comments, stick them in the comments box, and we'll hope to see you again soon.